Disney and Comcast are in cahoots. They're in cahoots with each other to corner the cord cutter market and then eventually draw viewers back into pay TV. But will the price make people want to go back? That's what we're going to talk about today in this episode of Cord Cutting After Dark. And then we're going to talk about some more stuff. So hot topics for this week: NBC Universal, which is owned by Comcast; Hulu, which is owned by Disney; Disney, which is owned by no one; and some other stuff we're going to talk about. But the biggest news, for me, at least for me, the biggest topics, the hottest topics for me, is the Disney. What's going on with Disney, Fox, and the Disney Plus. Disney putting out news that they're launching their streaming service. They just put out some news, some little trinkets for people, saying their service is going to start off at $6. And when you hear Disney, you automatically think of Marvel movies, Marvel content. Marvel content has been hot in the news for years. This Marvel. If you guys don't remember, Marvel went public back in the day. Marvel was a publicly traded company, but it failed. It was a failed publicly traded company, and eventually it's picked back up. And Marvel Cinematic Universe was created, and the rest is history. The rest is history. Box office hits, they breaking records. But let's talk about them entering the cord cutter market. Not until this year. Well, if you want to dive deeper into Disney owns a lot of other companies, a lot of other networks. So, but Disney has already been in the cord cutter market, but they own Hotstar Films, which is UK-based, Indian-based content, and they're also available in the US. But with the US, the market has become so saturated that you wouldn't even, really notice Hotstar. But Hotstar's content is primarily, that of Indian-based, South Asia content. So, but for strictly American content, English-based content, Disney purchasing Hulu is a big move. It's a big step. And then I want to get into what I feel is a big conspiracy theory between Disney and Comcast. For a long time, I just think these big companies, I think Comcast and Disney are getting together to push everybody else out the way, except the free streaming platforms. And if Pluto TV decide to hop into the paid market, they probably gonna get pushed out the way too. But then I want to circle back into Hulu because I got some news on AT&T. Now, if you watch some of my previous videos, you know how I feel about AT&T. They remind me of Steve Carell's character in The Foxcatcher. They got all this money, they can do what they want, they can buy this, buy that, but they don't know what to do with it. Just like Steve Carell's character. That's AT&T. Steve Carell's character in The Foxcatcher. If you haven't seen Foxcatcher, you definitely need to check that out. I know it was on actually reported on it was on IMDb free drive. I think a couple months ago. It might be still there, but probably not because it had an all-star cast: Mark Ruffalo, Steve Carell, Channing Tatum. So if you can find it, go ahead and check it out. But but getting back to what's going on, these two companies, I feel like they're going to create a big conglomerate, try to monopolize the market as two companies. I think they really in cahoots with each other. But welcome, folks. This is episode 5 of Cord Cutting After Dark. If you don't know what Cord Cutting After Dark is, this is where I sit back, get my buzz on. Of course. Got my bottle here, so got my bottle of wine right here. Today I'm sipping on Barefoot. I ain't gonna lie, I don't do it big. I do it menial. So, and if you're looking for some deals on wine, head on over to CVS look for them stickers that's hanging. Look for them price tags that's hanging below the original price tag. That's where you know you got some deals right there. You get a what's this? Over like 750 milliliter bottle of wine for like $6 or something like that. So head on over to CVS. Rite Aid who? But Rite Aid went out of business. I didn't see that coming. Fred's is going out of business. Didn't see that coming. But I always thought Rite Aid was. But you know that's a whole other story. But back to Disney. You know, let's see. This is so. Let's head on over to Disney, right? So if you don't know what current assets that Disney owns, so you know before I spoke on Hotstar. So Disney already owns some Fox assets, right? So Disney is everywhere, real estate, everything. You know, Disney is everywhere. They own stuff. But Disney acquired. They have Hulu, which they got the remainder 33% from Comcast, who owns NBC Universal, who just announced that they're coming out with the cord cutter streaming platform. Comcast, NBC Universal. So I'm gonna tell you why I think they cahoots. So Disney also owned 20th Century Fox, and they just bought the assets to 21st Century Fox, as if they didn't have it all before. So let's go ahead and get in touch with this screen right here. So we're gonna just go ahead and scroll up to the top so you guys can see what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Disney. Disney ain't playing. Before this year, before April 2019, was there any talks of Disney entering the cord cutter market? Absolutely not. Now they come out with this Disney Plus service, and now we actually see what they actually have. People are now actually looking into what they actually have and how they can actually take over the market. Freeform, now that was already an existing cord cutter platform. Now what's going to happen to Freeform? Because Freeform does have a ad-supported app on Roku. So, but we talking big time now. We talking big time, you know, on Hulu. But let's keep going on. So ABC, of course, ABC News, ABC Radio, ABC News Radio, Disney World, Disney. I mean, FX. Let's just scroll down. National Geographic, ESPN. You know, you see all the ESPNs. They just breaking them up. ESPN 2, 3, ESPN Español Deportes, Classic, ESPNU. Like, what's the deal with all these ESPNs? So I don't know what's the deal with it. But A&E, 50% equity holding in A&E. Now, if Hearst Corporation relinquished the other 50%, then, but you know, like I said, Comcast and Disney are in cahoots. They got a deal going on. They got a joint venture under the table type deal. You know, no contract signed type of deal. You know, a handshake type of deal going on. History, military, History Espanol, H2, Lifetime, LMN, Lifetime Real Women. Like, all right, you women. Lifetime is pretty much primarily watched by women, so why have a Lifetime Real Women? They just breaking it down, man. Everybody's getting paid over there. That's real wealth over there. So let's keep going down. Disney Press, ESPN Books, Marvel. Now, you know, they own Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man movies, X-Men movies, you know, all these Marvel heroes, you know, the Hulk, going back to 2008, the Hulk, you know, they get all that, man. You know, just to break it down. But in seeing this, all the assets, all the resellable, all the digital assets Disney has, right? There's really no reason for them to enter the cord cut market. You know, But you know, I think it's all a game for them. It's like a game of chess for them, you know. But you know, all these assets they have now. Keep in mind, they are already making money off these assets. If your cable company holds ESPN content, they are paying Disney. If your cable company holds A&E history, they are paying Disney to hold that content. Right? So Disney is already getting paid off their assets, right? So, but you know, let's jump back to Hulu, right? So Hulu and Comcast. So, but I mean, we had to do a triple play here. You get it? Comcast triple play. You know, I know that's kind of corny, but we might have to do a triple play here because we got Comcast, Hulu, Comcast, NBC Universal, right? Comcast had a 33% stake in Hulu, but they sold it to Disney. Comcast owns NBC Universal, and NBC Universal just announced that they're releasing a streaming app, right? You know, details were pretty vague. You know, I think what they was doing is just riling people up. Now, just keep in mind, man. You know, I'm gonna tell you why I think this is a whole. Why I think they cahoots. Why this is a whole. To me, it's a conspiracy theory. Like, where they trying to corner the market, right? Because the news released on NBC Universal says they're gonna have two versions: an ad-supported version and like a $12 or $10 pay version, right? So I think the news was just put out there to just get people ears buzzing. Oh, NBC Universal. But what does NBC Universal have? They mainly TV shows, so it's going to be reoccurring viewers, right? People who already watch their TV shows or whatever. But you know, they're not looking. And then, you know, I've seen quotes on NBC saying this. They're not really trying to draw people away from Comcast, which owns NBC Universal. They're not trying to draw people away from Comcast. They're just trying to, what I feel is, get people on that platform. And you know how you sign up for something and they hit up your email box. Hey, check out this deal we got. Hey, we got this going on, buddy. Hey, we got this going on. Check us out. You know, you're going to sign up for NBC Universal, of course, because it's free. But, you know, first let me explain what they said about the NBC Universal ad-supported. So, with the Universal ad-supported platform, you have to, or you must be already subscribed to a live TV service. So whether it's your current cable subscriber, you know, DirecTV Now, Sling TV, Dish Network, YouTube TV, whoever offers live TV, you have to be subscribed to them to have access to live content. I mean, to have access to NBC Universal's, you know, content for free, right? As supported. So when I hear that, I'm like, all right, how that's gonna work? If somebody already has access to live content, why would they want to sign up for NBC Universal if they already have NBC in their thing? So what I think is going to happen is, let me go back to this. Let me go over to Comcast so you can see what NBC has to offer, right? So let's go up to NBC Universal. Let's see what NBC Universal got. But let's not forget that Disney has, I believe, Pixar. But let's go down to, let's see if we can find NBC's Universal assets. So, list of assets owned by NBC Universal. Oh, so Cozy TV. Now these companies are all over the place. I mean, they like a horror movie, you know, or a magnificent force, depending on how you view them. Cozy TV, that's a over-the-air channel. Terrestrial TV. All these local stations. We're going down all these local stations. Of course, NBC will have local stations, right? NBC News, CNBC, MSNBC. Golf Channel. You know, you're gonna have access to. Will you have access to that with the NBC Universal app? NBC Sports. You know, Telemundo. You know, If you bilingual or Spanish or Latina content, Telemundo, a very popular channel. When I worked for Dish Network, and I did install Spanish packages, most of them just wanted Telemundo. I mean, you got some other ones, Galaxy, you know, but Fandango. But you know, see right here, Hulu 30% stake can be sold to Walt Disney from 2024, but NBC Universal International Network. So I mean, just going down. DreamWorks. I mean, Illumination. You know, CGI computer animation company. So DreamWorks TV. You know, NBC Entertainment. So Universal, Telemundo, you know, I mean, and folks, this is why I'm telling you folks, Disney and Comcast are working with each other. Now, you remember at the beginning of the video, I went over Disney's assets. So, it was, A&E was in there, right? I believe Disney owned. Let's go back. You know, the proof is in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. So it's all right. So let's go ahead and A&E, 50% equity holding in A&E. Now, you know, you can think, all right, Disney's just positioning themselves for a takeover. But why would Comcast relinquish the 30%? They was the only other holder of Hulu. Why would they relinquish that to Disney unless they got a deal brewing? And then, like I said, with NBC not really coming out with a full cord cutter package because they do not want people to become fully cord cutters. They just want them to be on a platform in some form or fashion, right? They don't really need you there, but they just okay, you there. We're gonna create this platform so you can be there. We're gonna put our name on it. We're going to create this platform so you can be there just in case we want to try to lure you in to the other side. You know. But let's go back to NBC Universal. LMN. Lifetime. LMN, Lifetime Real Women. Disney owns that. Why is Comcast selling stuff to Disney? Right? Right? I mean, the History Network. I mean, come on now. Broadcast, you know, just going down the list of TV One. But you know, let's go ahead and let's go over to Comcast channel themselves. So Comcast in no shape or form is trying to get people away from their pay TV service. In no shape or form. So we see right here we got Sky. Sky is a British Comcast, really, satellite provider, but they also offer broadband television. And Midco is like a local or regional type of triple play. They offer telephone, internet, and television. Midco, kind of like what you would consider the smallest cable company in your town. So when I lived in Detroit, Bright House was small, but when I moved to Alabama, Bright House was kind of big. They had more surface area. So yeah, but you know, looking at what I just showed you, going back to Comcast, you know, the name Comcast just can ring nightmares for a lot of people because their customer service is infamously horrible. I mean, you cannot. I mean, I would say if you ask 1,000 people, probably 800 of them will say they have had a bad experience with Comcast customer service. So, and you know, I think of stuff like this because when I worked for Dish Network, their main thing was customer service, even to the point where technicians, you know, somewhat had to sacrifice some of their personal time for customer service. So, but you know, Comcast, you know, They don't give a care about customer service. That's what it seems. Sorry about that, but you know why I think they in cahoots is because Comcast decided to relinquish the 33% stake of Hulu over to Disney, and both of them decided to come out with the streaming platform, with Comcast saying, all right, we're not going to really push you over to cord cutting. We're not going to offer a full cord cutting package. We're just going to offer like a substitute to your pay TV package. Right? Not really a substitute, but something you can use along with your pay TV package. So if you're on the go, you're going to have something like that. But it's plenty of ways to think about what they're doing. But all right, then we're going to take a look at Disney. Disney now owns 21st Century Fox. I mean, Disney already had the assets. So let's not be foolish about that. Disney already had the assets. 20th Century Fox, 21st Century Fox, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So they obviously have the content to draw the people in. They already had a free streaming platform. You know, talk about Freeform, Hotstar, and now they own Hulu. Now, make no mistakes about it. You know, Hulu isn't really Disney getting Hulu. I don't think is that big of a deal. So when I think about the Hulu, when I say a conspiracy theory between Hulu and Disney and Comcast is, all right, Comcast could have said, okay, Disney, we're gonna sell the rest of Hulu to you, but you have to lower your prices for us to hold your content, right? But in turn, Disney is still charging higher prices to the other people that want to hold their content, like DirecTV or Dish Network. And you know, I kind of feel bad for AT&T. I'm gonna get into AT&T in a second. Rest in peace, AT&T. You know, I mean, that's just how I look at it, man. Rest in peace, AT&T. But you know, just think about it. Comcast relinquishes Hulu, whatever. You know, just think about it, folks. You know, obviously. But you know, let's go over to the 21st century assets, right? Bunch of movies. You know, how many movies you seen that got that? But you know, so let's just go down, see what they got. Fox New Networks Group, Fox Next, 28 my movies question mark, 50% stake in that. Nat Geo. All this is the stuff we seen on Disney side. Star India, Tata Sky. So 20th Century Fox has assets. So what I think is Disney has the assets and Comcast has the platform. And that's why I think they really in cahoots, because they can really make deals with each other to push other people out. Now let's get into AT&T, man. Now AT&T, now I already knew AT&T wasn't gonna do nothing with DirecTV. I already knew it. You know, they might as well, you know, hand it over to whoever owns Orbit TV, or sell it all to Dish Network. You know, I already knew AT&T wasn't gonna do nothing with DirecTV. The companies that they have formed themselves haven't did nothing. AT&T Uverse. I worked at Dish Network during that time, or before AT&T Uverse came out. And, you know, I remember being in meetings where they say, "Hey, something's going on," because Dish Network and AT&T had a partnership during that time. I think it was 2006 or 2007. I forget when I started working for Dish, but you know, remember being in a meeting and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. AT&T is trying to buy Dish Network." I don't even know if I'm supposed to be telling y'all this, but that was over a decade ago. But you know, they said AT&T was trying to buy Dish Network. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. And but you know, the manager was looking kind of worried. But you know, that was, you know, none of that was on my. I was just worried about getting a paycheck. feed my family. But I can remember that Dish Network had boxes called the 625 Home Zone boxes that would support AT&T's platform and Dish Network. But it was garbage. These boxes, you know, you at least spending an hour on the install just waiting for the box to download. It was garbage, man. It was complete trash. But then, you know, no later after that, it was news that AT&T was trying to buy Dish. But, you know, everybody know Charlie Ergen wasn't going to give up Dish. So, you know, Dish Network stock plummeted. I believe it was like $13, but you know, I made a lot of money off of that. And the thing with Dish Network, I think I came in at the prime time because Dish Network was just I mean, they was boosting up. They was climbing up that hill pretty strong, man. Shooting them fireworks in the sky, man. They was launching them satellites left and right. 77, 72. You know, they launching them satellites, and every time Dish Network launched the satellite, their employees got some shares in the company. So Dish Network stock went from like 13, I think it was, when I checked it out, it was either $8 and something or $13 and something, all the way up to $54. And when you get hired with the company, they give you stock too. But back in the day, I wasn't into the stocks. I just remember when I left the company, I cashed out my 401k or whatever, and it was a lot of money. But yeah, AT&T tried to buy out Dish Network, and Charlie Ergen wasn't going for it, so they launched AT&T Uverse. And I remember running into a couple of Uverse guys out in the field. I mean, you thought a Dish Network install took long. I mean, times that by 4. These guys were at people's houses for like 8 hours because the system wouldn't activate. It was slow to activate. You know, they had to make phone calls or whatever. You know, that's what I'm like, man. AT&T a freaking joke. Then, you know, I met a lot of I don't even want to talk about it, man. But I met some big wigs at AT&T too. I mean, like big wigs, you know, big, huge wigs. I don't even say big wigs, but huge wigs. Great experience, great, you know, great talking to them. But you know, I'm not gonna say what our conversations was about, but AT&T, you know, yeah, they just try to buy people out, and you know, like I said in previous videos, I don't think AT&T knows what I think they just have that money that's like, all right. I think AT&T could probably flush $1 million down the toilet every day in 100 years and still have some money. I think they just got money and they don't know what to do with it. I think I think AT&T probably just needs to, I mean, AT&T started off in 1885, you know, going back to the Bell South, and that's when I say, man, I met some interesting people. I met a person that was with AT&T since the Bell South days. I met a person I met some technicians, of course, and I met a vice president of AT&T. I met some managers at AT&T, just, you know, just being in the field working for Dish Network. But, you know, put two and two together. I work for Dish Network, but installing Dish Network at an AT&T house. But, you know, a lot of these corporate bigwigs, when it comes to paid content, they will have every service. That way they can get a good, like a personal look at what the competition is. You know, a lot of these bigwigs, they will have every service possible so they can see what's going on with the competitor. I will say that, you know. But, you know, I met these bigwigs working for Dish Network and actually installing Dish Network TV or Dish Network Internet at their house. So, but yeah, you know, but that's it. You know, I ain't gonna get into that. But you know, just bring it back memories, some stuff I forgot about. I forgot I even. But yeah, just So we had 21st Century Fox, and sorry about that, leaving the screen blank. But just going over to AT&T. So AT&T recent news is they said that they was maybe canceling DirecTV Now. Like I said, I don't think they know what they don't know what to do with it. They just, I think whoever was running that, they got the old style mentality. Yeah, of course they start off as Bell South, but Singular Wireless, and then AT&T mobile phone, which whatever about AT&T phone. I canceled them a long time ago. So Time Warner or Warner Media, they don't even know what to do with Warner Media. I mean, of course they're making money off of the assets, but then again, I don't even think AT&T even needs to make big moves, but maybe they do, to stay relevant. And I just think, mark my words, folks, this Disney and NBC Universal or Comcast, I just say Disney and Comcast because they are the two people behind the steering wheel of these two ships or two airplanes that's in flight, that's taking off the year 2020, but creating news in 2019. Of course, Disney has the momentum with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Avengers Endgame topping charts, breaking records. They have the momentum, so they can get people's interest. They can get people signed up because they have them Iron Man movies, the Avengers movies. Then they have the X-Men movies. Going back. And it just seems suspicious to me that Comcast will relinquish. I know I probably said it 3 times, but Comcast will relinquish their 33% stake in Hulu. Why would you do that if y'all don't have a deal going? Somebody's, you know what I'm saying? They jerking each other off, pretty much. That's what it is. They helping each other out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Good business, but I think they playing the game how it's supposed to be played. I think they looking to push some people out. I think they trying to create something that's going to rival Netflix. But when you look at Netflix, I think Netflix has positioned themselves and they are in their own stratosphere. They create their own content, and they're getting they're getting good content that people like, or good original content that people like. So in the future, say Netflix does go defunct, they can sell their assets to another company. So in a way, Netflix is a streaming service and a content creator and a content holder. They're all in one, as opposed to Hulu. They just buy content from other people and they just have the platform. And I think that's why Disney decided to buy them, because it's like, I don't know if I got to this point earlier, but it's like having a building downtown. Hulu was that building downtown that Disney wanted. They know people are going to see that building. They know people are going to come to that building on their lunch break or whenever. That is going to be a popular spot. That's where most of the population is at during certain times or whatever. Hulu is that restaurant downtown that's always jumping, and I think that's why Disney wanted Hulu, because they don't have to go out and convince people to go over to their platform. All they have to do is buy that platform, and then people will come in. People are already there, and so they're going to automatically see what it's about. Without them having to do advertising on it, they're already going to see what it's about. You ever went to a restaurant that you visited a couple years ago, but you go back to that same location without Googling it first, and it's a different restaurant, but you decide to go in anyway to see what it's about? You might end up enjoying it, but you might not. But nonetheless, they have a patron at that restaurant that they didn't have to go out and search for. You came there willingly, or you was already in the market for it. I think that's what Disney did with Hulu. Is doing with Hulu. So, they're having access to. I think Comcast is going to give Disney a deal on NBC content or whatever assets they hold, and vice versa. That's just how I feel about it. You know, just what I feel about it. So where we at? Time Warner. So you know, AT&T. I'm done with AT&T, man. I'm done with AT&T. But you know, so we got the free streaming platforms. You got Pluto TV. Great content. Let's see. Now, I don't know if you guys, if you're new here, you know, I want to thank you guys for subscribing and checking out my channel. And currently, I'm going to go through all of the streaming platforms, and then I'm going to take that information. I'm going to dish out a mega video for you guys, just doing comparisons, you know. But Hulu has been great. Watching no advertisements has been great. But I have not forgot where I came from. I'm a cord cutter, damn it. I have not forgot where I came from. But it is great not having to watch commercials. And I have a real good update on Hulu for you, which, you know, is coming pretty soon. But Pluto TV, even though I have Hulu, I think I watched too much Hulu. I think I didn't went through all of their content. That's the thing. I have the $11.99 package, which doesn't include live TV, but I've watched a ton of content. I watched probably every episode of Seinfeld twice. I watch, you know, my kids watch, you know, they shows Teen Titans Go. Then I will say this. With Hulu, I would say Pluto TV and Tuba TV has more movie programs than Hulu. Because, I mean, let's just look at, alright, so we on Pluto TV. So what I like to do is I go by genre. So you see right here we got most popular, blah blah blah, going down. So I usually go to sci-fi, thriller, or horror, or sometimes I might watch adventure. Depends on what time of the day it is. I don't like watching adventurous movies at night because it'll keep me up. But let's go over to Hulu. I'm gonna tell you why I love Hulu, and I hope they don't go full pay and get rid of River Monsters. But, you know, River Monsters is my favorite show. But then, you know, you can discover other things. And it's all for free. You just have to watch a couple commercials. You have Rango. That's a pretty good movie. But going up here to IA, Artificial Intelligence, that's a real good movie. Yeah, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. That's a real good, funny movie right there. If you ever get on Pluto TV, check that out. But if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with Pluto TV. Alright, let's go over to Tuba TV. So I really like the services you don't have to sign into. I really enjoy the services you don't have to sign into. So Tuba TV, they don't even care. I mean, you could be a little kid just pressing buttons, you know. But Tuba TV has great movies and stuff. I mean, you guys probably know about Tuba TV, but let's go back here to my website. Now this list right here, this is a list of channels you can watch for free. But, you know, side note, just imagine if NBC and what if Comcast and Disney decide to take ABC and NBC off of free TV platforms? Can they do that? I don't know. You know, that's why I think if cord cutting if people really want to control what they watch, I think you really have to get together, you know, and decide, you know, like a strike or whatever, and decide, you know. But so going over these free channels, PBS, Create, where I hope PBS never goes away. But you have all these channels that you can check out. Heartland, you know, country music and lifestyle. Let's just select on that, see what it's about. But these are channels you can watch for free. And as you can see before, you know, Cozy TV. Who was that? I think Comcast owned that. Classic Movies, TV, and Lifestyle. What if they take Cozy TV away? You know, people, I mean, some people don't get good internet signals. Some people can't afford internet, so free TV is all they have. You know, they barely. Some people probably barely can afford antenna. You know, and what if you live in a rural area? You know, but like I said, Disney and Comcast are in cahoots. There's no doubt about that. They got something going on. Definitely. I mean, it's just written. And you know, mark my word. Either close to the end of this year or in the spring, whenever they set to release their news. Because remember, Disney released their news first, and then it was Comcast with NBC Universal. So I'm gonna see how it play out. You know, who's gonna release the next information on their streaming service in the next 6 months. Then we're gonna be able to decide. Like, then I know I can personally break it down because I look at patterns. That's just what I do. I just I see patterns and stuff like that. So I'm thinking. I'm thinking NBC is gonna do the next big release within 6 months. We're not talking about Why It's Still Hot. We're talking about close to the end of the year or first of next year. I think NBC is going to be the first company out of Disney and Comcast or NBC Universal to release the news of their streaming platform. And I just think that's the way it's going to go. But we'll see.